Astral space. Now, having examined in the world surrounding us all that answers to the physical conditions of higher dimensional space, we can put the question more definitely: what is the fourth dimension? We have seen that it is impossible to prove its existence mathematically, or to determine its properties, and above all to define its position in relation to our world. Mathematics admits only the possibility of the existence of higher dimensions. At the beginning, when defining the idea of the fourth dimension, it was pointed out that if it existed, it would mean that aside from the three perpendiculars known to us, there must exist a fourth. This, in its turn, would mean that from any point of our space, a line could be traced in a direction unseen and unknowable for us. Furthermore, that quite close, side by side with us, but in an unknown direction, there lies some other space which we are unable to see and into which we cannot pass. We examined why we were unable to see this space and determined that it must lie not side by side with us in an unknown direction, but inside us, inside the objects of our world, inside our atmosphere, inside our space. However, this is not the solution to the whole problem, although it is a necessary stage on the way to this solution, because the fourth dimension is not inside of us, but we are inside of it, in the space of 4 dimensions. We examined before how spiritualists and occultists of different schools often use the expression fourth dimension in their literature, assigning to the fourth dimension all phenomena of the astral sphere. The astral sphere of occultism, which permeates our space, is an attempt to find a place for phenomena that do not fit into our space. Consequently, it is to a certain extent that continuation of our world inwards that we require. The astral sphere, from an ordinary point of view, may be defined as the subjective world, projected outside of us and taken for the objective world. If anybody actually succeeded in establishing the objective existence of even a portion of what is called astral, it would be the world of the fourth dimension. However, the very concept of the astral sphere or astral matter has changed many times in occult teachings. On the whole, if we take the view of occultism of different schools in nature, we see they are based upon the recognition of the possibility of studying conditions of existence other than the physical. Then using the knowledge of these other conditions of existence for the purpose of influencing our physical conditions. Occult theories generally start from the recognition of one basic substance, the knowledge of which provides a key to an understanding of the mysteries of nature. However, the concept of this substance is not definite because sometimes it is understood as a principle, as a condition of existence, and sometimes as matter. In the first instance, the basic substance contains in itself the roots and causes of things and events. In the second instance, the basic substance is the primary matter from which everything else is obtained. The first concept is of course subtle, and a result of elaborate philosophical thought. The second concept is more crude, and is in most cases a sign of the decline of thought, a sign of the ignorant handling of difficult and profound ideas. Philosopher alchemists called this fundamental substance spiritus mundi, the spirit of the world. However, alchemists or seekers after gold considered it possible to put the spirit of the world into a crucible and subject it to chemical manipulation. This should be kept in mind in order to understand the astral hypotheses of modern theosophists and occultists. Saint Martin and later, Eliphas Levi, still understood the astral light as a principle, as conditions of existence other than our physical conditions. But in the case of modern spiritualism and theosophy, astral light has been transformed into astral matter, which can be seen and even photographed. The theory of astral matter is based upon the theory of fine states of matter. The hypothesis of fine states of matter was still possible in the last decades of old physics, but it is difficult to find a place for it in modern physico-chemical thought. On the other hand, modern physiology deviates further and further from physico-mechanical explanations of vital processes, and comes to the recognition of the enormous influence of traces of matter. That is, of imponderable and chemically indefinable matters, that are nevertheless clearly seen by the results of their presence, such as hormones, vitamins, or chemical secretions like endorphins, pheromones, adrenaline, and so on. Therefore, in spite of the fact that the hypothesis of fine states of matter does not stand in any relation whatsoever to new physics, it is necessary to give a short exposition of astral theory. According to this theory, particles resulting from the division of physical atoms produce a kind of special fine matter or astral matter, unsubjected to the action of the majority of physical forces but subjected to the action of forces not affecting physical matter. Thus, astral matter in this regard is subjected to the action of psychic energy, force of will, feelings and desires, which are real forces in the astral sphere. If true, this means that man's will, his sense of reaction and emotional impulses, act upon astral matter just as physical energy acts upon physical bodies. Furthermore, a transformation into the astral state of physical matter composing visible bodies and objects is recognized as possible. This is dematerialization, that is, from the physical point of view, a complete disappearance of physical objects, no one knows where, without trace or remains. Also the reverse process, that is the transformation of astral matter into the physical state or into physical matter, is recognized as possible. This is materialization, that is, the appearance of things, objects, and even living beings from no one knows where. Finally, it is recognized as possible that matter that enters into the composition of a physical body, after having been transformed into the astral state, may return to the physical state in another form. Thus one metal, having been transformed into the astral state, may return in the form of another metal. In this way, alchemical processes are explained by the temporary transference of some body, most often some metal, into an astral state where matter is subjected to the action of will, or of spirits, changing entirely under the influence of this will and then reappearing in the physical world as another metal. Hence iron changing into gold. It is recognized as possible to accomplish this transformation of matter into another, and the transformation of one body into another by means of mental influence, assisted through certain ritual. Further, it is possible to see in the astral sphere events which have not yet happened in the physical realm, but which must happen and must influence both the past and the future. All this taken together makes up the content of what is called magic. Magic, in the usual understanding of this word, means the capacity to accomplish what cannot be accomplished through ordinary physical means. Such would be, for instance, the power to influence physically people and objects at a distance, to see people's actions and to know their thoughts, to make them disappear from our world and appear in unexpected places. The capacity to change one's appearance and even one's physical nature, to transfer oneself in some inconceivable way to great distances, to pass through walls and so on. Occultism explains such acts by the knowledge of the properties of the astral sphere, possessed by magicians, and their ability to act mentally upon astral matter, then through it upon physical matter. Certain kinds of sorcery can be explained by the imparting of special properties to inanimate objects. This is attained by influencing physically their astral matter, by a special kind of psychic magnetism of them. In this way, magicians could impart to objects any property they chose, make them execute their will, bring good or evil to people, warn them against impending disasters, give force or take force away. To such magical practices, for example, belong the blessing of water, which has become nothing but a rite in Christian and Buddhist religious services. Originally it was an operation, undertaken for the purpose of saturating water physically with certain radiations or emanations with the aim of endowing it with the desired qualities, curative or other. In theosophical and modern occult literature there are many very picturesque descriptions of the astral sphere, but no proofs of the objective existence of the astral are anywhere given. Spiritualist proofs, the phenomena at seances or mediumistic phenomena in general, communications and so on, are ascribed to spirits, that is to discarnate souls, and are in no sense proofs of anything because all these phenomena can be explained much more simply. We will look later at dreams and the possible meaning of spiritualist phenomena, as the result of impersonation. Theosophical explanations based upon clairvoyance require first of all proof of the existence of clairvoyance, which remains unproven in spite of the number of books, the authors of which have described what they attained or what they found by means of clairvoyance. It is not generally known, for example, that there exists in France a prize established many years ago, which offers a considerable sum of money to anybody who would read a letter in a closed envelope. The prize remains unclaimed. Spiritualist and theosophical theories suffer from one common defect, which explains why astral hypotheses remain always the same and receive no proofs. Space and time are taken both in spiritualistic and theosophical astral theories in exactly the same way as in the old physics, that is separately from one another. Disincarnated spirits, astral beings, or thought forms are taken spatially as bodies of the fourth dimension, but in time as physical bodies. In other words, they remain in the same time conditions as physical bodies. It is precisely this that is not possible. If fine states of matter produce bodies of different spatial existence, then those bodies must have a different time existence. This idea does not, however, enter into theosophical or spiritualistic thought. So far we have looked only at historical material relating to the study of the fourth dimension, or rather that part of the historical material that brings one nearer to the solution of the problem, or at least to its more exact formulation. Later on, we will look at how the problems of space-time are connected with the problems of the structure of matter, and consequently the structure of the world. Then how they lead to the understanding of the real world, avoiding a whole series of unnecessary hypotheses, both pseudo-occult and pseudo-scientific.